Each week, we break down a hot topic in the gaming industry. And this week, probably the hottest topic of discussion is Blizzcon 2019. So at Blizzcon, it was a very interesting year because they came off of last year with their, do you guys have phones? Diablo Immortal announcement.
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah. Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
And last month, they went and banned that player and with the Hong Kong controversy and Blitzchung, and that was a whole mess of things. So Blizzard's been kind of under fire a lot lately, and now we have them with their community event that's meant to bring everybody together, and there's a lot of stuff riding on this. So as you heard earlier, if you're listening to the podcast, we talked about the apology that J. Allen Brack came out and gave, but we're going to talk about the games right now. So we got Diablo 4, WoW Shadowlands, the new expansion for World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Descent of Dragons, Hearthstone Battlegrounds, their auto battler, and Overwatch 2. So overall, with the showcase, Austin, how did you feel about this? BlizzCon across the board.
Off the bat, I was pretty impressed. I mean, I expected Diablo 4 to happen. We actually already got leaks of WoW Shadowlands and Overwatch 2 before they, were released on the Sherman floor or on the the opening ceremony.
Yeah, I like how what's his face made a comment about that. He's like, "Thank y'all for doing my job." And basically, I don't even have to come out and announce anything. I just know that the week before the game comes out, I'll just see it all online. You guys will just talk about our game without us.
When I watched some of the gameplay and stuff, and they had some really awesome trailers, I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. But now that I had a little time to think about it, I think I have more of a clear head and not so much like, oh, look at the cool trailers.
I was impressed with how long they were. They're pulling a Death Stranding here with 8-minute long cinematic trailers for Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 and all that shit. That was wild. But yeah, I feel the same way. I was pretty relatively impressed. I didn't expect them to have this much new content to showcase, especially since last year it was just, oh yeah, we have Diablo Immortals.
Yeah.
I feel like they should do a better job at spreading this stuff out.
Yes.
Like I know timelines affect a lot of this, but they should try and figure out, okay, you have Diablo 4, WoW, and Overwatch 2. You could have saved WoW Shadowlands, or not necessarily that, but like say, for example, WoW Shadowlands, and then Overwatch 2 for like the next BlizzCon. And then for this one had a big announcement and then a smaller announcement or two and leave it at that.
I don't
so
think
you have a big go away.
I think that's the thing. Like,
right.
Well, and they're trying to change the narrative of what's happened with Blitzchung in China. So they're like dropping everything that they can right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I heard that Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, like, we're not going to see that till next year.
No.
So it's still
if we're lucky
early.
next year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
I can
waiting.
see Overwatch 2 happening early next year, but Diablo 4 probably could be end of next year or even into the following year.
I think they're waiting for the consoles to come out, the new consoles.
You think so?
Yeah. I think we won't see it at least until fall. I can see fall might get Overwatch 2. But Diablo 4, I don't think we'll get till 2021. They're still working. They're still working on Diablo 4.
Yeah.
There is no dates or hints or like time spans of like when this is being released. So
it looked good though.
Yeah.
And they had playable content. Diablo 4, first and foremost. Let's talk about that a little bit. So they showcased a gameplay trailer featuring 3 classes: the Sorcerer, the Barbarian, and the Druid. There was a lot of crowd applause for the Druid. I guess that's a fan favorite. So that's going to be included in the game. They talked about an open world campaign this time around and mounts to get around faster. So it's a non-linear campaign where you can basically go anywhere instead of being constricted to like one space. You can go all over the place, and it's a very large scale map according to people that saw the map itself. There's going to be hundreds of dungeons and legendaries. I don't know what the legendaries are, but I heard people saying that was a cool thing. They've added skill trees, rune words, and ability levels. So you have customization cosmetically. Skill trees help upgrade various aspects of your abilities. Rune words are things you can equip that weren't in the last game, I don't believe. I think they came from Diablo 2. They were, at some point, they were a new thing, and then they weren't available, and now here we are with the ability to equip them to weapons to give them special effects, and then ability levels to make each individual ability a little bit stronger. They also have darker and more random dungeons. So that's something I definitely want to dive into here in a little bit. PvP is back, returns with an opt-in system for combat, so you can actually fight people in the world, which was not in Diablo 3, but it was in Diablo 2. So that's pretty exciting. And then this idea of social areas and challenges with many players in the area to hang out, swap stories, trade, check out builds, and potentially gather in groups to take on big world bosses inside the world. So it sounds like there's a little bit of an MMO kind of aspect to it, but that is kind of up to discussion. So overall, Austin, like, what are your thoughts on the idea behind the open world aspect and the dungeons and the darker feel that they're shooting for with this game?
I think all that's good. Having random dungeons is good. Well, having an open world's great because I think, depending on how the main campaign plays out, could allow you to do a lot of exploring like you might do in The Witcher to some degree. Obviously, not that intensive. Or most of Diablo is just going into dungeons and killing people.
Yeah,
or killing beasts and undead things. So I mean, it all sounds good. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be excited for that. I mean, they're taking a new Diablo 3 was very linear. I don't just the way that they have everything set up sounds like you're gonna have a lot of variation and gameplay and things that you can do and not being constrained kind of helps lead to you finding your own moments in this game.
I think it's I'm excited, but I'm also concerned because I was listening to the creative directors behind the Outer Worlds, and they were talking about the idea of, like, they were asked, why did you not go open world with this game? Budget was obviously a huge part of it, but they said that they don't like the idea of open world being the new standard. Like, there's some games that shouldn't be open world. And in their case, story was a big component for them. And they think it's a lot better to serve that with these open area, whatever they are called, spaces that allow you to kind of control the player a little bit better and allow them to experience things you want them to experience, the times you want them to experience it. And I think that's true because I feel like, Borderlands, for example, it's open area, but very linear paths in most cases. And I kind of like that because I can see clearly, okay, I've explored every nook and cranny of this map because the Fog of War shows me that I've done it. And for me, that's better because I feel I can visually see the fact I'm accomplishing something. But there's not so much that it's overwhelming, like in Zelda Breath of the Wild, where it's just you go everywhere and you don't know if you've actually been in this nook before and found this thing. And like there's just this too much content in some cases. And I think with this, I'm concerned about that in this game because I've never thought of Diablo as an open world game, but I'm curious to see how open it is and will that hurt it or not?
I don't think it will because, depending on how good the story is, like for me in The Witcher 3, there's a lot to do in that world, right?
Yeah.
But I felt that the story was so compelling that I kept getting pulled back into that linear path of let's go to the next mission and see what's going to happen. Right, and that could be the same thing here, depending on how they tell their story. And some people don't care about story. Some people just like the gameplay that they have there. So it kind of leaves that option for them. And I mean, I agree. Like some games shouldn't be open world. Some games should be linear. But it just kind of depends on what kind of story you're telling and how dynamic and compelling it is.
Yeah. I do love the mounts look really cool because I saw in the gameplay trailer when you're running in on a mount, you can run in and literally jump off and like initiate an attack at the same time. Yeah. So that was just a really cool, epic entry point into it. And the classes look pretty sick. Like some of the capabilities that each character has and the charging down a line, or the one I think it was a druid that converted into an animal.
Yeah, it turns into a bear.
It turns into a bear and like fights people in that sense. It's just like the animations and everything just look really, really solid and visually very compelling. And the graphics look fantastic. Like they really one up this game in terms of visual fidelity. And I like that they pitched heavily that this is a dark game. blood, gore, guts. Like it's Diablo. You're going to hell. Like
They're listening
needs
to the
be
fans.
that.
This is what we wanted. This is what they wanted. People
Yeah.
have been talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh no, let's get them a mobile game.
I'm curious about the social areas though. It's like a Destiny kind of idea here, and I don't know if that's needed. I mean, I always think of this game as a single player ish or co-op experience, and the addition of this open area space with other players is it useful?
I don't know if it's necessary. I know people were talking about how having randos be a part of this battle with you just makes it not so good, because it just makes there's no coordination. There can be, obviously, but if you're going with randos, half the time, well, probably most of the time, they don't give a about what's going on here. They just want to attack this thing. They're not thinking about strategy. Obviously, it depends who you find or go into this battle with. I just don't see it being something that's going to help this and make it stand out from itself, or make it a newer experience that's worth having.
Well, I'm excited to see more from the game. They had it playable on the showroom floor, but from my understanding is there wasn't much else to do there, and I don't expect us to see this for a while. So
Right.
What we see now, though, it's got me pretty excited. Like, I've never been a big Diablo fan, but I would love to get us together to play this at some point and dig through it and experience the masterpiece that is the Diablo universe.